Hello, you are in day 11 to 25. So this video will basically cover pretty much everything that should be going on in the next 14 days, I would say. And so you're very close to your shooting star date, which is your 15 days. And so you've got about 5 days left, maybe 4, depending on if you're actually on your 11th day yet. So whatever your 15th day is, now if you aren't quite sure how to find your shooting star date, which is your 15th day, if you go into your workstation on your home page, it will actually have a tracker on the left-hand side. Now, my personal workstation doesn't have one because I'm way past my 15 days, or else I would share my screen. But on your left-hand side of your home page of your workstation, there should be a 15-day tracker, and it will tell you the date. If you cannot find it, contact your sponsor. They'll be able to tell you that date as well. Another way to find your shooting star date is if you go into your performance tab, which I can share that part with you. So we'll go into the performance tab, and right here it'll say shooting star, and your name should show up there. So I'm not going to do that because it's going to show other people's personal information, so I'm not going to do that. But right in that performance tab, when you click that shooting star button, your name with all your information and your 15-day should show up right there. Okay? All right, so you should have that written down in your startup guide by now. If you've read your startup guide, like I've insisted and encouraged you to do, it actually asks you to write down your 15 days. So your target date to qualify is right here. Okay, so hopefully you've actually read it and you've written that down so you know what your shooting star date is going to be. All right, so some things that we are going to be talking about today is Hostess Coaching, Hostess Flipping, which I will tell you what that means, and different types of parties. And then we're going to discuss some things you could be doing within the next video, until the next video, which will be your next 26th to 40th day in your business. So first, since you are so close to your 15 days, my suggestion is to reach out to any orders, any people that have shown interest in ordering, and just remind them. Remember, it's just reminding. You're not bugging them. You're just reminding them that the day is coming up soon, and let them know when that close date will be. So people's lives get crazy. They intend to do a lot of things, and then they forget to do what they intended to do. So a great story that one of our newer consultants shared today on our group page. So if you're watching this later on, or not right when I made this, but one of our very successful consultants shared that she was hesitating to call her friend because her friend had showed interest in ordering. And she was looking to order some diffusers, and those are a little pricey products that we have. So sometimes we get a little nervous that people are going to spend that much money. So we start to feel like we may be pushing them if we we follow up too much. So, but something inside her said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and follow up because I don't want her to miss out on placing her order. So she placed the phone call for the follow-up, and not only did she find out that her family's been going through some issues, which has been causing her to kind of be off her schedule, she was able to comfort her and, you know, let her know that she was there for her as a friend. But the friend actually said, the client said, you know what, thank you for calling me. I've been meaning to call you. I really want to place this order. So what held her back from actually calling is she knew there were things going on, and she didn't know exactly what, but that made her feel like, I don't want to bother her. But in the end, when she pushed through that fear of what was not a fact, she asked herself, is that a fact, or is that what I'm telling myself? So she pushed through, she made the phone call, and her friend not only thanked her for reminding her, she said it made her day and she's excited for that purchase. So it kind of got her mind away from all the stuff that's going on in her personal life. So you're doing people a favor. You have a very amazing product and an opportunity that makes people happy. So think about that. You are in the business of making people smile. You are in the business of making people have excitement of, oh, I'm so excited to get my new stuff, or these things make me feel good, because fragrance creates memories. Remember we talked about that earlier? So never hesitate to follow up with those people. You have a deadline, and don't be afraid to let people know that you really want to hit this goal. You're excited, you're close, and their support means the world to you. If you don't express that to them, they don't realize that it's important to you, and so they don't make a big deal out of actually following through with what they said they will. So it's important to verbalize and say, your support means so much to me, okay? And that will give them that little extra oomph of making sure that they go on your website to place that order, if that's how they're going to order, or actually looking at the catalog, or making time just to come over, or for you to come over to smell the fragrances. Okay, so gather your orders together and make sure, try to place your order the day before, which a lot of you already have that planned. So I'm very excited that you've done that, because then you can kind of still have a day of leisure to kind of, maybe a credit card doesn't go through, maybe you got an order and you're like, ooh, this doesn't come in that fragrance. So you're not going to miss out on a deadline because of that. So I suggest that from your shooting star goal to any goal in your business, whether it's the end of the month and you just want to get your orders in to get that commission check. Okay, so we had a little bit of a glitch, so I'm back, and what we were talking about was just making sure that everybody knows that you have a deadline, and that your deadline, do not reveal that deadline for the end of the month or your goal date as that day, because then you may have some difficulty closing orders. They may not, your credit card may not go through, whatever the difficulty may be, you'll still have one day to settle those things. Also, another suggestion with orders. When orders come in, we suggest for you not to tell your clients that they've come in that day. If they have, they expect their product that day. So what I would do is when your order actually comes in, that's when you reach out to your clients and say, hey, the order is expected to be ready in a couple days. And when can we set up a time in the next, starting, and give yourself like a 2 to 3 day leeway. Unless you feel like you can gather everything up and get it out that day, that's a lot of pressure on you. So my suggestion is just to not tell people it's in unless you're ready to package the order and deliver it, because people get very excited about Scentsy. So say it comes in on a Friday, say, hey, I'm just wondering when you'd be available on Monday in order for us to get together for me to deliver it to you. Give yourself a couple days, like that weekend. So that's a good example. Okay, so always give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, basically rule of thumb in the business, okay? All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about, since we know you're going to hit your shooting star, right? And you're going to get everything in before 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Whatever that may be to you, make sure you look at a world clock, and so you know what that means to you, so you're not missing a deadline. My biggest suggestion to you is to also reach out to your sponsor when you're closing your first order for your 500, for your first goal. So we don't want you to miss that goal by 1 PRV point. We want to make sure everything is all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted and everything is good. So we don't have to worry about anything not adding up. Okay. So if you can let them know you're going to be closing your party within a couple days, give them time to schedule to make time for you, and then you can walk through that together. So that's the ideal way of doing it. But my biggest suggestion is when you are closing your shooting star goal, that you look at the order. So whatever you have already on your home page of PRV, which there's an example of right here. This is my PRV. So what I would do is I would consider $295, and then I would go to my, let's say, shooting star order, click continue. And then what you would want to look at is your PRV. So you add this number to the PRV that's already in your, that's already placed, which is online orders or any other parties that you've already closed. So then you're going to be able to know if you've hit your 500 before on your 15 days when you close that. So that's something that is very important to take into consideration. So in case you can't get a hold of your sponsor or consultant support, if it's on a weekend and they're closed. So you tally what's already in on your homepage that says PRV, and then you add whatever PRV is right here for your party. Okay. All right, so next we will talk about Hostess Coaching. Hostess Coaching is vital with parties. You have to remember that hostesses have no clue what you need from them. They have no clue how to market. They have no how to communicate with their friends and family. And it's up to us to consult them on the strategies of what they need to be doing in order to make their business, or excuse me, their party successful. So there's several different types of parties. So obviously, depending on the type of party, you're going to coach them differently. But let's start with the home party, because that's what we always want to be striving for. The home party is where you're going to be interacting with people one-on-one, in their face. They're going to see you. They're going to, get your expressions, your body language. You're going to do the same for them, and you're going to create relationships. You're going to have laughs. You're going to giggle over what scent that was. So that's where you're building your relationship, and it's the easiest to kind of find out what people like, what they don't. That's why ideally we always want you to be in person, whether that's just a couple friends over while sniffing in some wine, which call that a sit and sniff, or if it is a presentation style, which the presentation style does scare most people. I was one of them. And I'm here to tell you that I have consultants on our team that are still on our team that were at my launch party. And they will tell you that I literally told everybody that I wanted to vomit because I was so nervous. I literally said that to my entire group of people that came. Okay, so I have to share this story with everyone that's brand new because everybody thinks they don't know anybody. They think that they don't know enough to do a home party because they feel like they're inadequate, they're not educated enough. So here are some of the steps that I suggest that I did that worked. And the people that do these steps, they have a successful party. Now, I did email you in your welcome email, your very first welcome email, at the very bottom, it's actually a training of me doing a training for the home office event that it's called World Tour. So I did a training about coaching your hostesses. So I'd like you to watch that as well, but I'm just going to do a little bit of a recap. Okay. Basically, make it fun. Make it fun. Ask your hostess, what's fun to you? If you would think of a party, what would it look like? Who would be there? And what kind of decorations would you have, or theme? What would it be? Don't even talk about Scentsy. I mean, we're talking about Scentsy because we're talking about their party, but we're asking them questions that they're getting in their mind what that vision is. They may be like, just sitting around with some wine and cheese. They may say, I want a whole luau, with leis, and, everybody's in their grass skirts, and, they may have this big vision. And the cool thing is that you can make that collaborate with their Scentsy party. So you could say, great, let's make a Hawaiian theme Scentsy party that everybody's coming over. Everybody that wears any type of Hawaiian theme is going to be entered into a prize because they're participating in the theme. And we can make little, prizes and stuff that have kind of like a Hawaiian theme, like kahika hula. Now that's a fragrance that's only kind of seasonal, but think of like a floral fragrance, and because it's more of a Hawaii theme. So there's so many cool things you could do with this business, but we have to think out of the box, and we have to ask our clients what is exciting to them, because that may be not exciting to the next hostess. So let them make their own visual of who these people are. So once they know what the theme is, say, okay, who's there? When you visualize this party, who are the people that you want there, that you would see there? They're starting to put a list in their mind of who they'd like to be at this party. So then have them start writing these people down. You just made your guest list. These are the people you're going to invite. And so the more you over invite, you're going to be able to get a better crowd. They statistically about 30 people, minimum, you're going to get about 6 to 10 people, which is a good party, to be honest with you. That's where that average $500 comes from. Okay. So that's the home party. So you're going to coach them on how to invite their clients, or their customers, their guests, whatever you want to call them, which is phone call. Everybody loves to have a personal phone call. I personally, in your startup kit, you have invitations. I personally offer to write them out for my hostess, and I mail them to them for them. I write off the postage for a tax expense, and I take the time to do that so they don't have to. So all I ask them to do is to write out a guest list for me with their addresses, and I will make up all the cards. Then you can add stickers. You can put maybe a little label that says, hey, bring a friend, and you can, be entered into a prize. You can also wear a Hawaiian themed shirt or outfit to be entered into an additional prize. So you could do all those extra things that they don't really want to necessarily do. Kind of alleviates the pressure. And it's the more simple you make it for them, the more work you say you'll put on your shoulders and not on them, the more likely they're going to be willing to host the party. So invitations, that's one. We always want to at least layer in 3 different ways. Phone call, mail, snail mail, because snail mail mail isn't fun anymore. So when they get some type of fun mail, it's fun. So make it colorful. The invitations in the startup kit is awesome because it's decorated beautifully with Scentsy products. But if you can throw a cool little colorful sticker in there, like the variety stickers in the the Scentsy family store, those will kind of dress it up a little bit. Throw on a scratch and sniff or a rub and sniff, whatever they call it. Those are going to give fragrance, and it kind of creates that, ooh, I want to smell more. Okay. And then maybe a text message a day before the party. And, you know, just to remind them, and what you could say is text message your clients, or I keep saying clients, sorry, text message your hostesses. I'm saying the wrong thing. I'm confusing you. Okay, strike that. Text message your guests and say, I'm so excited to see you tomorrow. Make sure you wear whatever theme that they're going to do, or a color, like make sure you wear the color blue in order to be entered into for the grand prize. So it makes them kind of excited, like, ooh, what's the grand prize? And ooh, okay. And it makes them feel a little bit more obligated to go because they've been invited 3 different ways. Okay. Now you can also, of course, I think every party should have an online party for people that are out of state. So you can do a Facebook event. Now, a lot of consultants nowadays, they focus more on online. So obviously every party should have an online party, because why limit yourself to just people in town when your hostess knows people out of town too. Now, what does that do? That opens up your circle of clientele. Now they're out of state in different places. So you're broadening your clientele by having them have their friends and family go online. So you want to Facebook event, remind them, or invite them and then remind them as well. Ask them to invite you to the event so you can help, you know, post reminders, maybe put some videos of some products. Now that we have our marketing tab, you can post some photos that directly go to the website. So there's so many different ways. Now, what I personally do for a home party is I give my hostess a set of these mini testers a week before the party. So what they're going to do is they're going to take these to wherever they go, work, mommy and me meetings, the gym, mom's house for lunch on Sunday, whatever. And anybody that isn't able to make it can still place an order. So I challenge my hostess to gather outside orders. And if she can collect a minimum of 150 in outside orders from people that aren't attending the party, I will also throw in an extra prize. Now that can be anything. It can be an extra scent circle that you got for free from your hostess rewards from your launch party. It could be anything. Okay. But you give them a little of an incentive. Okay. So that is going to almost ensure them to be almost like 25% to their 500, which you want them to hit 500 because you want them to hit that 15% bracket, which is going to get them to $75 minimum in free credit for their hostess rewards. So that's another reason. I'm just going to remind you that one of the reasons we want you to hit the 500 in hostess for your parties is because that's when their hostess is going to get the maximum hostess rewards with that 15%. So let them know that. I don't want you getting 10% in free credit. I want you to get 15% in free credit and off of a minimum of 500, which is $75 in free credit. But express that, verbalize that, educate them, let them know what they're in for, what's in it for them. Because if they don't actually attach to these hostess rewards to them, to what they can get, it's not anything to them. They lived without it up until now, right? So we need to emotionally attach them to these products. So what the next step is to once they know that they can get $75, you want them to start looking through the catalog and visually look at what they would want. Have them circle what they would want. And then you'd be able to say, you are going to be able to get this, 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 and this for free. And then you're going to get half off items. So we can get you this, this, and this for half off. So now they're emotionally attached to that vision of, oh, I want that. And I want it for free. And I want it for half off. So give them, once they've once they've actually written up what they like a wish list, they can either just circle in the catalog. You can print out a wish list that's in our Jesse's Angels Facebook page or our Google Drive. That link is in one of your emails. And I'll also post that link under here. But if you emotionally attach those products to them, they're going to start working harder to make sure those people show up to the party. Okay. And they're going to actually, try to get those outside orders with these mini testers. Okay. While we're on the subject, this is my master. I see how I write master, and then I do little tabs with every catalog so I can easily flip to where I need to go. So it saves time. Okay. So I have Scentsy, scents. I have diffusers, warmers, MLB, campus, kids, skin, groom, lamp, what's that say? Laundry. I have clean, and then I have the fragrance grid. So this is for me to easily just flip right to it. Then I keep this as my master at my desk or wherever you're generally going to be doing business and closing orders. So when you're on the phone with a client, you could just flip right to it. But the reason why you say master on it and you put these is so you are not going to get rid of your last copy. So you always have, even when you run out of catalogs, you always have a copy. Okay. So that is the home party. That's the coaching that you'd like to do. And I usually have in the email, also in our Google Drive, in your emails, and then some of you may have a packet from me. If you didn't, and you let me know if you haven't gotten a packet, but there is actually a Hostess Coaching section, okay? And there are some flyers that is going to help you, walk you through the things that you should be doing. And it talks about these processes. So if you're a visual person, this is something you may want to do. And this one right here, it says there are some times you want to communicate with your hostess. So this is kind of keeping you on a timeline of after setting up the party, make sure that you use a wish list to keep her excited about her party. We just talked about that. Assist her in sending out emails with her friends if your company has an Evite system. So emails, ask them if most people don't really do emails anymore, but if they do, offer to send out the invites for them. Just say, I need the email addresses, and just send out an invitation via email. About 10 days before the party, make sure she has sent out or delivered the invitations. My personal suggestion is for you to do that. Another tip that I learned just from experience is put their return address on the invitation, because if they see your information, they're gonna go, who's this? Toss. So make their name and their return address on the return of their invitation. Okay. Just a little tip, because one person they told us that showed up to the party, they got the text message, so they still came, but they told my husband and I that I never, oh, that was your invitation? I threw that out. So that's how I knew. So now from then on, we always put the return address of the hostess, and we've never had that issue. Okay. About 5 to 7 days before, talking about using social media like Facebook to get the message onto her party out. 2 to 3 days before your party, communicate with the hostess to make reminder calls for her guests. And this is a good time to thank her for hosting, and thank any of the online orders. If you're using the Evites or something, you can make those phone calls and thank those people that have placed orders online. And then the 2 to 3 day mark is when you're going to actually talk to your hostess about how the party's going to run, meaning, some of the games you're going to play. Give her just a visual of, I'm going to want to just have everybody kind of sit down. I'm going to kind of show them a little bit about the product, talk a little bit about the product and the business, things like that. Give her is going to happen, so she's on board with you. And then she can actually, or he can help you with getting people down. You know, okay, guys, look, we're going to sit down now. We're going to get started. Give everybody about a 15-minute window from when the time is supposed to start. So if the party starts at 6, wait about 15 minutes, let them settle in. But remember that this is your business. You want to only be working from a certain amount of time. If you let it drag out, you could be there for 3 hours before anything starts. So make sure that you communicate with your hostess and say, okay, we're going to give everybody about 15 minutes, and then we're going to get started at 6:15. And then your hostess can say, okay, guys, it's 6:15. We're going to get started. And they're the ones that know these people, so they can basically lay down the law that you need to get in your seats type thing. If this is presentation style. Now, there are other styles, which I'll talk about, but there's reasons why I don't prefer them, and I will explain that. And then call your hostess a few hours before the show, before the party. Just make sure everything's still good. Let her know when you're going to show up, what to expect. And also, you may want to ask if there's anything she needs you to pick up. Say, hey, do you need anything? Oh my gosh, thank you. I totally forgot to get bottled waters. Is there any way you could pick up some water for me? Absolutely. So you just stop by, and you know, if you want, you can write it off as a business expense for the party, or you know, if you want her to pay you back, whatever. But it's helping her with time. Let's see. And then also, if you call her a few hours ahead of time, if she needs to cancel for some reason or reschedule, you're not going all the way there and then finding out that it's canceled. You're not wasting your time. So there's a few reasons why the more communication. Now, this host list right here is what you want her to write down her information on, of her wish list. So gotta have it. I really want it. And then you could break down and give her how much of a party she needs to hit the goal to get it all free and half off. So this is how you can visually connect and give her that breakdown. Okay. Now, there's other different types of ways that you can get a host, like a party checklist on thebooster.com. It's called thebooster.com. It's a party planning website. So you can actually get free downloads like this one that gives you just like a checklist of things that you should be doing for your hostess coaching and just for the timeline of the party. There's also, people make these up. So you can actually, I have this inside of our Google Drive, but these are all tools that you could be using to keep yourself on track. Okay. Now, hostess coaching for online parties is a totally different story. Okay. Well, not totally. It's still the same communication. We still have to verbally express to them how important inviting people is, but not just through Facebook. Because here's the thing, people get invited to Facebook parties every day, all day. So they're just like, ignore, whatever. And it's nothing special. So when a hostess actually contacts these people personally or private messages them, if they don't have their email or their phone number to call them or to mail an invitation, it's personal. It makes them go, I thought of you. I really want you to see this, have an opportunity for this, to learn about these products, and let them know to send that little extra something. Say, hey, I thought of you when I decided to host this party. I thought this is something you may be interested in. So it just makes them feel special, and it doesn't make them like you're just clicking friends. You don't even know who you're inviting. My biggest suggestion is to not invite, or tell your hostess to not invite more than 40 people. The reason why is because if you just invite 500 people on your friends list, that is so not personal. They know you didn't personally go through and go, oh, I want to pick this person and I want to pick, you just clicked. And they're just like, whatever, you just want orders. But if they see it's just a specific small amount of people that you chose, or the hostess chose, they will feel like they're a part of a very specific group. Now, encourage your hostess how important it is for them to make that post. Hey, everyone, the people that I chose to invite to this party, I thought of specifically that I thought you would be interested in this product and that you would enjoy it just as much as I have. So I selected just a handful of people to be a part of this party. They can do another online party at a different time with other people. That's what's so awesome. They can do a separate event with a different Facebook page event and a different link for a bunch of other people. So that's the thing. But in that event, you want it to look prestigious. You want it to look very thought out of who they're inviting. Now, the Facebook Live is a feature that is brand new. I mean, the last few months, this is something we never had before. This is a feature that you can have this, that people see you, they see your energy, they see your excitement, and they can sit back and just watch and listen. And they don't have to necessarily read anything. Statistically, videos have a lot more likeliness of engagement than even a photo. Photos are better than just text, like verbiage, posts, but videos are definitely more, have more engagement. So you may be like, I don't want to be on live. I don't want to be on video. But here's the thing. If you want to run your business online through social media, I'm sorry to break the news to you. You're going to have to break out of that fear, because that is really the only avenue you have to run a successful business simply through social media. They have to know who you are. They have to see your excitement. So that's something that's going to have to be, you decide to break through. Start with your close friends and family to do a mock party, just so you feel comfortable and get their feedback before you offer it to some stranger hostess with all their friends and family. But I promise you, you're going to get a lot more of a engagement, again, if you do the video. They may be on live because they want to comment and ask you questions, or they may watch later, and that's okay too. And then you may get some comments or questions directly to you via email, or they may call you, whatever. But the most important thing is for you to educate them on the products. Why is this product better than another product on the market? Don't specifically use specific names of other brands, but our products are UL approved. We have lifetime warranty. They're non-toxic if ingested. Our wax, the oils, that's another story. That's an oil. So, but these are things that people need to see. They need to see how they're used. So you can physically show them, this is how you put the wax in the dish. This is how you turn it on. This is how you use the diffuser. So they're educated. Now, I just sold a diffuser just because I brought it down to the business, and I knew they would have to see it. And I turned it on for her, and she was sold, just because she saw how it works and she saw how gorgeous it was in person. So you can't do that with a photo, but you can do it live on your Facebook Live, okay? So I strongly suggest for you to plan a date that your hostess is on at the same time you are, so your host can be commented. The more engaged your host is, the more their friends and family are going to be engaged, or their guests that they invite. So if they see them commenting of their excitement or asking questions, it's going to make them go, ooh, I have a question too. Maybe I should ask that question. Make sense? Okay, bag parties. These are mini testers, okay? These, well, there's some party testers in there, but basically the mini testers, this is the bag that it comes in. And these are like on-the-go parties. These are what you give people, like we said to the all of our home party hostesses. Some people only want to do a home, an on-the-go party. They don't want to make the time for a home party, or they just don't want to do a party. So this is a way that they can collect orders by giving them these testers, which this fragrance is what sells. So if they can bring the fragrance with them, have a stack of order forms and some catalogs, maybe put them in a little tote for them so it's easy to carry, they can bring it wherever they go and collect orders. A lot of people like this concept because they can bring it to work. They can tell their friends, hey guys, I've got some stuff at my desk. Come smell when you have a chance. Maybe they'll put it in their break room so everybody kind of smells and places their orders. This is the most easy way to collect orders. Once you've had a home party and you've educated the majority of the people, you can do reorder parties through on-the-go parties. That all they're doing is they're collecting orders from all their friends and family. They're not setting a date of specific when everybody's coming over. which is an ideal thing to do if you just call it the reorder party and everybody gets to, sit and drink wine again. But if they're not able to do that, they can now do an on-the-go party because they've been educated on how the products worked already. And now they just need to reorder with the fragrances. So these little guys are like your mini employees. You can have 10 of these out at once, having 10 different parties out. So when I first started, what I did is I separated about, I made like 5 bag parties. So they didn't have all of them. I prefer to give them all now because I can afford to have more than one. But if you're just starting out, here's a secret. If you're my frontline, I will reward you with a free one of these if you hit your shooting star. So that's another incentive for you, okay? Not only your shooting star charm and your certificate from the home office and your enhancement kit, but also a free one of those. Now, if I'm not your sponsor and your sponsor hasn't offered that, ask them how they can earn this, and then they can contact me and I can share with them how they can also reward you with this. Okay, so then you can break it up into different parties, send them off. The idea is that people just need to have an idea of what these fragrances smell like. The descriptions in the catalog are right on to what they smell like. So once they've smelled a few of them, they kind of can pick out other scents that maybe the tester isn't in there, but they can be confident enough to say, okay, it probably is going to smell like that. So I'm just going to go ahead and get it. Another tip is that not everybody is going to take the time to smell all the fragrances. So they really don't need all 80 something fragrances. But what I do is, because I do give them all a big one, I put these little category stickers on the back so they can pick just what they want to smell. They're not going to have to go through a bunch they know that they want to smell the classics. So they pull all the classics out. It just kind of narrows things down. Another smaller way is just having little pouch parties, which if you break this up, go to Walmart or the dollar store and get these little pencil holders and have pouch parties. And then you can put, they're really ideal because I would maybe put like 15 in here just so they have a good amount, and a couple from every category. And then these actually fit the order forms. So everything, and then I would just put one catalog in here. I'm just trying to move all these testers. Let's see. And then you see how this fits perfectly? So you can put a pen in there. You can put a calculator for them to add up orders, and put an example order form in there. Fill out an order form so they know how to fill it out. What I suggest everyone does is highlight all of the top part of the order form so they know. This is one I wrote up myself, but if I'm sending these with a hostess, I will highlight all of this part. So I'm going to show you a visual. I will literally, and for some reason it's a psychological thing, I think people just see highlighted and they automatically provide the information. If it's not highlighted, they don't do it. So see, just highlight everything and you'll be more likely to get a full information back. You need this for several reasons. One, because you want to be able to send them follow-up mailers. Two, you want to be able to have them their email address in your contacts for newsletters every month. And 3 is that it's going to help with just having their address for when you deliver in the future. And what I say is this is for if you're paying for credit card, I need that billing information for the credit card. I also say it helps with, we need this for your lifetime warranty purposes. And they usually are fine with giving your information. So coach your hostess about that. Say, I only need all this for a few reasons, and these are why. If you don't explain it that way, some hostesses get kind of like iffy about giving you their friend's information. So the phone number is vital because you need to call that person if something goes wrong with their credit card. You need to call that person in case maybe they placed an order for something that car bar doesn't come in that scent. So you need to call that person and say, I'm sorry, it doesn't come in that fragrance. Do you want to choose another one? A number of reasons. You need to be able to communicate with your client. people cannot purchase Scentsy from anywhere but a Scentsy consultant. So we need to be able to connect with them and let them know about what's going on with Scentsy. But it's important to educate your hostess about that. Let them know, I really need to be able to connect with these people, because once they place their order, I need to know how to get a hold of them for whatever reason. I'm not going to harass them. I'm not going to send them an email every single day. It's just to give them good customer care. So these are really easy to put in a purse. So if you hand somebody a pouch party and be like, here, just go ahead and wherever you go, if you see anybody that might be interested, let them smell some fragrances and check out the catalog. And if they want something, you can add it to your order. So make it simple. Don't make it so scary. Just, this is something people want. They want our products. Okay, one of the avenues that I personally am not a fan of, but a lot of people do it, is an open house. Now, an open house I've done it before, I'm not going to lie. I've done an open house. And what that is basically a larger bracket of time that people can just come and go just whenever they decide to show up. So maybe from 6 to 9. And you have your display set up and you're literally talking to people left and right and talking about the same thing over and over again. And so, excuse me. And so you're repeating yourself a lot. I don't like that aspect, but if you don't mind it and you don't want to do like a presentation in front of a lot of people, that may be more of your comfort zone. So that's an option. But the reason why I'm not a fan of the open house is because it's a lot harder to book parties that way. And obviously, every party we do, we need to be with the focus of booking more parties, because without parties, we don't have a business, okay? We don't have a future business. So if you can find out a strategy, there's lots of games in the workstation on other people's YouTubes of how to book parties off of open houses. Look those up, because there's lots of different strategies. I use the dice game, which is, you could look that up as well in our Google Drive. You can look it up. I have a YouTube video in my YouTube channel of how to play the dice game. That you can play at a home party or an open house. You can just say, hey, throw the dice, and whatever number they roll, they can choose a prize and see, and they might end up booking a party that way. So there's a lot of different gifts. There's the bag game, or hostess stacking game that you can do. So I'm not going to elaborate on those games, because those games are actually broken down into videos, which I would just Google those. Put them in the YouTube channel and type them up. The hostess stacking game, the dice game, those are games you can play at open houses. So then you just are going to collect orders and let people drop in as they feel like it. Maybe they don't get off till 8 o'clock at night, so they till 8:30. So you're just giving people more options to come, except for saying you have to be here at 6 o'clock. Does that make sense? Another way of parties or getting orders is fundraising. Now, I am a huge fan of fundraising. I started doing fundraisers the very first month of my business. And that, I believe, is the biggest reason why I broke out of my circle of people, which was like this big. And I was able to introduce my business to my community and beyond. So look up your local schools, daycare centers, organizations, baseball, sports community programs, and let them know anybody that you may have a connection with first. That's obviously the easiest. But even if you have no connections, don't be afraid to call them and say, hey, I'm just looking for the person that would be coordinating any fundraising opportunities, because I have a fundraising proposal that I'd like to share with you. And so this is a way to meet new people. Yes, you're donating your commission, but you are building a future clientele for future business. So there's so many different avenues. Fundraising is a totally different training video, which I've done a lot on. So look that up. And if you get yourself a fundraising opportunity, message me and I'll be happy to talk to you about what a proposal should look like and what you should be. I have a template that I can email you, and you through the basics, and then there's plenty of trainings that help that I learned from and did it, and it, you learn from experience as well. But I can definitely guide you through that. Another avenue is events. Now, events are like craft shows, any type of a expo, whatever's going on in your town that they do, like vendors. Google your local area and find out if anybody's doing a craft show or, a carnival or whatever that has vending opportunities. When you're first starting, I don't suggest you to spend more than maybe $100 max on a booth. And because we want you to be making money before you're spending money, right? But I will tell you, investing in a booth is going to give you an opportunity to introduce your business to your community, and you're going to meet people you never would have met, and you're going to broaden your clientele list that way. So those are the different types of parties. Again, there's even just the sit and sniff. One-on-one, you meet one client, you sit, you sniff. And today I did one of those, and her daughter just happened at the same time, and she ended up sitting and sniffing with us. And obviously she ended up buying products too. So it helped. So anywhere that you're introducing the product is a party technically, but obviously the more people you have at that party, it's easier to kill two birds with one stone type thing. And you save less time, more time, excuse me, you spend less time. Now, our next topic is, now that you have your party and your hostess has hit their level of whatever their orders have gathered. Obviously the goal is 500. Say even they hit 250, it's a qualified party. Now 250 is halfway to their shooting star. So if they have ever thought about joining Scentsy, if you educate them on what they've already achieved, it's very likely it's going to be an easy answer for them, a decision. They're going to go, well, wow, I'm already halfway to hitting a goal in the company. Well, if I have 15 days to do it, 15 more days, I could do this. Now, what I personally do is I let every hostess know that this is what I speak to them. So I'm going to speak to you exactly like you're my hostess. Okay. So I'm going to use the name Susan. Susan's my hostess. So Susan, I am so excited about your party. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you know just right now, ahead of time, before we have our party, that most of my hostesses see what an awesome opportunity this is and how fun it is for what I do. And they think about what it would be like to be a consultant, because they see that they have people that love Scentsy, their friends and family that attend the party, and they start to realize they have a clientele that they can sell to and make some extra money. So if that happens, I want to let you know that I am happy to offer the party to you. So what would happen is that if you decide at the end of this party that you would like to join for $99, and that's just to get your kit and to get your workstation up, and we would put the orders into your workstation, you're going to get your website for free for 3 months. We can do that the night of your party and get you started. Now, if you, for some reason, which our goal is 500 for you to hit that $75 mark, right? Well, the cool part of it is if you decide to join, you are going to already earn a goal in the company, which is basically a goal that we all strive for the first 15 days of our business. But if you do it on the night of your party, you're going to already have achieved it. And you still have 15 days to continue to get, for that 15-day mark, you could still continue to gather orders. And you'll be halfway to promoting in the company, which would bump you up to 25% in commission. And so whatever you sell this month from the day you join, you are going to get 25% in commission. So what I'm doing there is I'm literally just letting them know what's available to them. I'm making it seem like it's something that pretty much everybody does. And I'm helping them see that I'm helping them become successful, that they are more likely to already start off on a good start. If we can give them that confidence, it's more likely they're going to consider it a little bit more. Now, what I do tell them is that if you do decide to join, the only thing that I can't do is I can't give you back the orders that are ordered online. So let me know in the next couple days before the party. If for some reason you're like, oh, I think I'm actually going to join, then we won't tell your out-of-state people to go to my website. We will wait to tell them about your party until we actually join, and then we will direct them to your website. And they're like, okay, that sounds good. And even if they don't decide right then and there, they see the plan. They see that it's a structured and very clear plan for them. So they don't feel like they're going in blinded. They see that you are there to support them, and you are there to help them get off to a sensational start. So that is hostess flipping, but what I try to call it, or what I do call it, is hostess gifting. I say, I will gift this party to you, and you will get the commission off of these orders, as well as they will count towards your first goals in the company. And a lot of people, a lot of new consultants say, well, gosh, if I have a $500 party and I'm going to give it away, gosh, that's my commission. I know, we all think that. But the bigger picture of the future for your business, if you are really looking to make a good income in this business, your sponsoring is going to make that difference. So the more people you help get started is going to help you build your business and build your income. When you think about people joining, they're an extension of you. So they are going to know more people and sell to more people than you are personally able to do. Now, even if they do that party, I can guarantee you there are people that they know that they didn't invite to that party. But once they become the consultant, they're going to go, oh my gosh, my Aunt Susan's going to love this stuff. And they're going to reach out to Aunt Susan, but they wouldn't have reached out to Aunt Susan if they were just hosting the party. Does that make sense? So we want to gift these parties. And here's the thing. As long as you continue to keep booking parties off of people and introducing your business to people by fundraising events and hosting your own parties and inviting people and asking them to host, you won't run out of sales. You will always be able to hit your minimum of 500 to be paid off of your sponsoring bonus. So don't let the fear of losing money because of sponsoring ever stop you, because sponsoring is your way to actually create a real income in this business. Okay. The sacrifice I know is hard, but it's so worth it. I promise you. Okay. I gifted parties left and right. And my husband was like, what are you doing? You had, $2,000 of parties this month, and now you only have 500 and you gave them all away. But I was building a team, and before he knew it, all of a sudden I was able to say, guess what? I'm a director, and now I get bonuses that way. And he's like, what? And so now I built a team, and I was making more money than I could have ever made selling products. So it's a way to create leverage in your business. Okay. So hostess flipping is the biggest gift you could do for someone else. And it is so rewarding for you. It's so neat to be able to say, I'm able to help somebody make an income. I'm able to give that opportunity. Okay, so we've talked about hostess coaching, how important it is to communicate with your hostess. Let them know how important it is to invite in several different ways, layering the invitation. So normally about 4: phone call, text, snail mail, and Facebook. Okay, we talked about the different types of parties. There's several different types of parties. You may find that one is what you like to do. Some people just do events. Some people just do basket parties or bag parties. We used to call them basket parties because we used to put them in baskets, which is actually a cute idea still when they're going to like an office. So ask your hostess, if I give this to you, are you going to take this to work? And they most likely, I encourage you to take it to work, but ask them what setting it is. Is it an office? If it's an office, they can set this cute little basket on their desk and tell people that you've got something fun in their office. And it's all set up all cute and pretty with a warmer and samples and testers and stuff. And it's aesthetically pleasing, and it's going to draw people in and go, oh, wow. So make sure you offer a warmer to anybody that's bringing their bag party or basket party to an office, because you want them to turn it on, because you want that fragrance to sell. You want people to walk by their office and go, whoa, your office smells awesome. Okay. Another tip that I have that was huge for my business is lending warmers to people. Lending warmers to people that are kind of hesitant about, I don't know if I want to, really want to invest in this. Let them fall in love by using it without any attachments. Be like, here, just try it. I want to see what your reaction is. Give me your feedback. And I promise you, it's very likely they're going to go, oh my God, I love this stuff. Lending it to offices in your area. Walking in there and say, hey, this is a random act of kindness week with Scentsy. So what we want to do is offer you a week of free Scentsy, meaning I'm going to let you use this warmer. I'm going to plug it in for you. You could take a couple testers, just bring like maybe a cube of every category and let them choose which one they want. And then you plug it in, you put the cubes in for them and turn it on. If you just give it to them, it's likely they're not going to turn it on, but say, I'd love to share Scentsy with you on me just for our random act of kindness week. And they're going to go, oh, wow. Like, yeah, I'd love for you to have a nice smelling office for the week. And I'd really appreciate that you let me share that with you. It's very likely they're going to call you up and go, okay, how do we buy this stuff? And then before you know it, you are going to have the people calling you saying, I want to smell, and you can drop these off with them and say, okay, I'll come and test for you. And, and drop some order forms off. And before you know it, you have a bag party going in that office that you were just going to lend the product to for free. Now, even if they don't order that day or that week and you take the warmer back and you got nothing out of it, you can still leave business products there, business samples, catalogs. Ask them, hey, do you mind if I leave some brochures on your magazine table over here? They're not going to say no, because it's just magazines, right? One thing I offer to them is if they do love it and they want something, I'll say, hey, I have a deal for you. I will let you keep that warmer and I will provide the wax once a month for you if you let me keep my brochures in here, and if I can leave some samples every month and just bring like a little basket, a small basket with some samples. A lot of times they're fine with that. They're like, oh, you're going to provide the wax? Okay. So those are just a ton of different ways of how I've branched out into my business. But please, please, please do your training calls, because you are going to hear a bunch of tips from different people. It's going to get kind of old hearing from me. So, branch out, look at other YouTube channels, listen to our training calls, because you're going to hear all walks of life of how they're running their business. So before your next video, update your list of 100. If you've thought of anybody else, maybe you met a friend's friend since you wrote your 100, add them to the list. Complete your hostess checklist. So write down like a little list of things you need to do with your hostess from the things that I talked to you about. And then as you do them, check them off so you feel comfortable before that next party. And then the biggest thing that you can do with Scentsy is label, 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 label everything, everything, even flyers. Everything that leaves your house should have a label on it with your products. With your information. There's, you've got some print your own labels in your kit. Go to your workstation, and in the info and news and info section, there is a template for that's those labels for you to print out. If you have any issues finding that template, contact me and I'll be happy to help you, or I can send you the template. But you should be able to find it in your workstation because it's there. So you have a lot to think about and a lot to hopefully rewind this video and kind of just take this in increments. And any questions that come up from this video, please email me or write them down, and we'll talk about them on our next conversation. But obviously, the faster you get your questions answered, the more your business will keep going. So send me an email, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them as clearly as possible through the email. Or if we can talk sooner, let me know you need to chat, and we can hopefully coordinate a time to talk. All right. So you've got a little bit more time to your shooting star. I know you're going to do it. And until next time, bye.